Hi Poopsies, it's me, Tony Bomboni ASMR. Welcome back to your video. So before this begins, if you're new here, just take a quick second to subscribe, hit that play button down below, and tap all notifications so you can get notified of new content from me every single day as I upload daily. And to help support my journey to upload daily, check out my website, tonybomboni.com, where you can purchase your own services from me. I offer many services on there, like tarot reading, other fortune telling services, ASMR custom videos, and much, much more. Alright, so check it out. And you can use these coupon codes in the corner for your benefit. So right now I'm sipping and trying out this LaCroix Limoncello. And it tastes exactly like key lime pie. So I'll be sipping on this while I do a story time, okay? I have to make a little sound, but this will mostly be just me sitting here talking with you about my very good friend. I consider her my best friend. I've known her for how many years now? Like 12 years now? Like since 2010? Yeah, there was sort of like an on and off moment we've had, but like that was in between. I'll go into that later, but her story is so fascinating, and she gave me permission, and she's probably watching this video. Hi, you know who you are. They will remain anonymous for this story time, but I thought, okay, to do a story time, not just about me for once, but like someone else, right? I think that would have been such a good idea, and she said it was a good idea, and she agreed with it, and obviously every story time is biased based on your opinion, right? So it's not going to come across maybe 100% accurate based on what they went through in their shoes, if that makes sense. So if some of it is a little bit far-fetched, that's because of my interpretation of it and my bias, right? So same with any other story time anyone has ever done. Okay, same principle applies. So I just want to add that as a disclaimer. All right, but I will do my best to maintain accuracy here and share their story and what they went through. And I wanted to share mostly because, not to like spill the tea of someone's business, you know, I never shared this stuff with anyone because, well, it's none of anyone's business, right? I really don't share much of my private life to begin with, and the fact that I had this friend this whole time that went through all this stuff, you know, but just for inspiration and to make you realize how grateful we should be. So I hope this inspires you in some way to realize that, and this is why I share this story. And yeah, some people's lives honestly do deserve a Lifetime movie. I mean, really, her story is amazing. So let me begin from the beginning. I didn't know too much about her past, but I know that I think she was born with epilepsy, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. But I believe it's the one without seizures, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. And it can affect things like how you walk, I suppose, at least for her, and other, I suppose, bodily functions. Okay. I really don't know, but this is just, again, my interpretation, what I've heard, what I've accumulated. I really hope I even said the proper diagnosis correctly. It was epilepsy, I think. I'm not sure, but I'll have to ask again. But yeah, this friend has been, for the most part, a long-distance friend. Okay. We never actually met, but we've actually spoken online for countless hours over the years. I can't even tell you how many times. I mean, you know, we've all had those friends we've never met, but we've spoken to online, and that's because I met them through work. I'll just put it that way, okay? And they were doing the same thing as me at the time, and basically there was a lot of problems that I was going through and they were going through, and we were just meant to meet at the time online. Let's put it that way. They helped me out through a lot of things. Okay. But going back to their past, I believe before that they were doing what they were doing through this online work because I believe their family was struggling in poverty for years before that, and they didn't want to continue living that lifestyle. They wanted to find a way to be independent, to be self-employed, to make a living for themselves, and I suppose it was ultimately a sort of, I don't know if it's a fear, but that's my first impression, would be like a fear of going back to old ways, because I know how that can be. So you would do anything you could to survive at the time, and how many years now? Almost 12, right? Like, I mean, how old was I then? Like, what, 15, 16, right? So they were, I think, 24, 26. I really don't remember. No, I think they were like 24, yeah, when I met them, 23, 24. And so they're well in their 30s now. I'm 27. So you can do the math, I guess. But they were like just this guiding light for me. I was severely depressed at the time. I believe they were as well. They were dealing with a lot of negativity online. And for what they were doing, again, I would like them to remain anonymous. But they were going through a lot of struggles with their mother. Okay, and their family did not agree with what they were doing online either. And they didn't want her to be this person online. They just didn't like the idea of their daughter showing their face on camera. And so, could you imagine working a job that you not only hate, probably because you're receiving so much negativity online, but your family is also not supporting you? So I did the best I could at the time to be there for her, and because they were a guiding light for me, to be a guiding light back. But at the time, I was in high school, almost approaching college, and there was already so much that I had to go through that it was a lot. It was a lot to not only keep up with friends at school and everything, but again, I want to make this story about her, not about me, but I have to kind of relate it to me sometimes, because like there were little moments that, like, obviously I can only speak on behalf of my experience with her, right? Like, so I have to do it in the point of view of my point of view of being her friend. But this is why it's a bit hard for me to say the story like in third person. Do you know what I'm saying? But I'm doing the best I can here. That water is good. But basically, there were moments in time where they would tell me they just wouldn't want to be here anymore on this earth. And with time I got to know her more, I realized that she actually had a partner in Jamaica who passed away. And I believe they only met once or twice, something like that. And she was devastated by the fact, not only was she going through all of that, but that her partner passed away suddenly, unexpectedly. And I won't go into the graphic detail as to how, but it was horrible. And she ended up having to fly in to go see him at the funeral. And she discovered there were other girls there crying for him. And she realized soon that he had other girlfriends / partners. And that devastated and broke her even more. And that made her feel a particular type of way. Not only that she suddenly lost her lover at the time, but that she was lied to. And you can only imagine what she must have been through and what she must have felt like, and having to come back home and continue doing a job she despised, and to share with the world what happened to her. And I remember watching that video, and it was horrible to hear, and I felt so sad for her, and I had no idea what she was going through, and how busy she was taking care of all that she had to take care of, and to pick up the pieces where she left off. And it broke her. It was the beginning of what would have been her worst nightmare, and her fear come to its reality. And you can only imagine just like a 1% being in someone's shoes in that scenario. Like, how would you feel? And not to mention the fact that your partner is at a distance, right? A long distance is very painful already. Not to mention that they're not here any longer. How would you have felt? So I think in moments like this, we want to really pause, reflect in our life, and realize that, yeah, we may not have it great right now in some aspects, but this person is still alive today. They've been through what they've been through, and they'll continue going through what they continue to go through, right? How can we, again, anytime, I'm not going to keep repeating myself, but anytime you hear something else that I'm going to say about this friend, instead of feeling sorrow in your heart for them, how about we can acknowledge that people go through hardship all the time and they get out of it somehow. They find a way out. They find the light. And that, yeah, a lot of people have had it much worse than we have, right? Maybe you've been in a dispute, in an argument with your partner. Maybe you think like things are not going to get better, but they're much better now than what they could potentially be, right? Especially when you hear the perspective of someone else's story, as I'm sharing now. And I'm really sad to hear that ever even happened to my friend, but it also made me realize how strong they were, even though they didn't appear so at first. They didn't appear like they could handle all that they handled, but they did, and they got through it, and they survived. So a couple years pass, and I believe they are in university and college, and they're living in this dorm, and they're trying to figure out ways to make money, and I believe they went down the route, which I did as well, of finding a sugar daddy to provide for themselves. And I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I might as well share. I believe I shared it already in my sugar daddy story time, but I did actually end up flying out to Washington, D.C. to try to get $8,000 for my friend because they were in debt. And when they were in this job, there was a guy that was scamming people unexpectedly, and they told her that they needed that amount of money for photography and to get them into a professional modeling career. And they took it all from her, and she ended up she didn't have that money at the time. She spent it all her earnings at the time on an online store that flopped, and she lost it all. And again, just keep in mind, she's been through a lot, so this is a story time that's a little in depth, and you can imagine, like, wow, you know, it just kind of surprises you, like that shock factor, like, wow, someone actually went through all of that, you know. in a short period of time. And they were always wanting to be wealthy. They were always like even sharing with me like, dreams of owning a yacht and a private jet. And, I kind of was like on the same page at the time, and, kind of even joking like, oh yeah, one day we're going to compete whose yacht is bigger, right? Like, yeah, and so she was really into investing and making money quick and stuff like that. So we had like minds at the time, correct? And so, yeah, every friendship, that's how you get along. You find things you relate to, you're in common with, and certain times your friendship kind of fades and subsides a bit because you don't have much to talk about. And that's kind of how it's always been with, every person in life. And the rivers cross, sometimes they don't. Everyone gets busy, moves on sometimes, and then sometimes you come back and you realize there's unfinished business. But like I was saying, they lost the online store, like probably $30,000 right there, just gone. And so I actually went literally for the intention of getting money out of this guy, and this guy only agreed to paying me $1,000 a month, and I declined after a while. He gave me like $500, and I ended up buying a camera and a mic. I already told you that story, but again, not about me. Let's move on. I couldn't get her the $8,000. He said he would have given it to me if I said it was for my debt. My mistake was saying that it was for her debt, but I was being honest. I'm not going to lie to someone to get money. That's just not my values in life. Right? I'm not that type of person. I'm too honest, I guess. So that was a flop. And then I stopped doing that because I just wasn't into that guy. And so I told her all of this, right? She was involved heavily in this. And, I was like typing to her from there, like, like making sure I'm okay, I'm safe and stuff like that. It was back when I didn't even drive a car. I was too young to get a rental. So I was only 19, yeah. So I had to get like a train and then like a bus and then like a taxi and stuff like that. And oh my gosh, it was just a nightmare. So not to mention being nervous that you're going to miss your flight. So she was there along the whole way, right? We really wanted to make this happen. And, looking back, I'm like, oh my God, Tony, you were so crazy. Like, but, I guess when you care deeply for someone, you would do anything, right? And so, long story short, it didn't work. So they were trying to find other ways to make money. I guess they were doing little things like clinical trials and stuff, because I believe you can do that for a certain amount. And so that was going great for a while, and then they realized she couldn't do it anymore because of a certain thing or diagnosis. I don't even remember anymore, to be honest with you. It was so long ago. I'm not even going to pretend like I remember, but because there's so many little details in between. But yeah, they were doing everything. Then they ended up finding their own sugar dad, and that went for a little while. Then they kind of were not happy with that, and I guess things just didn't work out and progress naturally. And I suppose they stopped doing that because they just wanted peace, and they started getting a more spiritual approach to their life, but not as much as when they met this one person, and it was a new lover and someone that lived in Peru. And so it was another long distance relationship they had. It was more like a friendship, but it started into something like a relationship, I suppose. But it went south fast. And I think this really tore them. This really broke them. This person really shred them to pieces in their spirit. Really hurt them deeply in their soul. And I don't mean to say that that's a permanent thing. I don't believe in that. I don't believe someone can do that to you. We can only damage ourselves, But this person had such a manipulative way of going about things that she ended up being the sugar mama. It went the other way around, right? Like it ended up being her paying for him. So she ended up sending over a span of a while around maybe, I don't know, $10,000, okay? I'm making up a number. I'm pretty sure it was that amount, but I'm making it up, okay? As I go along. So, again, this is not about this is a true story. This is a true story, but even if it wasn't, keep in mind the lesson here, right? Like, I'm getting to my point, so just hear me out. My friend watching this is probably like, ay, ay, ay. And I think they already went through enough, because I don't want to say exactly from where, because it might give away who this is, but they come from another country and they're living in a totally different country, and it's like at a young age just already going through all of that. It's like it's a lot, especially at a young age. You know, they've always been through a lot. Their parents divorced early on. I believe the mother didn't speak to the father for a long time. I think maybe still doesn't. I'm not sure anymore, but yeah, their mother was really nagging them after a while, nagging her, I mean, to get a job, to work, to bring in money. That was for some time, and then that stopped, I guess, eventually, because she started to get really sick, because this new guy she met in Peru was tearing her apart, and they've known each other now for probably 6-8 years, something like that. And he was always needing money. You can imagine in Peru, I mean, the average income there is no more than $400 or $500 a month. So, to him, she was like rich. Do you know what I'm saying? But she kept having to pull out debts and what is it called? Money orders? I don't even know how these work. I never used them before, but like like you go to a money exchange or something, a money order place, and then you pull out like these little certificates that say, okay, you have to pay this back within a certain time. Is that a money order? I'm not sure, but you know, it adds up. You know, let's a few hundred here, a few hundred there. I need sending for this because I'm sick, I'm in the hospital, my parents are dying. Like, he would always make stuff up, and she would have to send money, like a Nigerian scammer, you know what I'm saying? But the only difference is that, like, well, this guy was pretty much with her, you know, and like, okay, I guess there's not much of a difference. I mean, like, you could be in a relationship with someone in Nigeria that you think you're in love with too, but anyway, moving on. That's not the point here. The point is that this guy duped her, and that was not cool. That was not okay. And this is something that was really wrong, really dirty of them to do, and they were involved in their life for a long time, messaging every day. After a while, it got to a point where he would say he was dying, and he was needing a liver transplant, heart transplant, lung, kidney, whatever. He would say anything. He would say he was losing his limbs, like anything that he could say to get money from this poor person. And hearing all of this, it really was frightening. I actually even ended up doing tarot readings for her to see, like, okay, exactly what was going on, and we managed to pinpoint down a lot to the nitty-gritty of what actually was reality. And yeah, they were even saying, oh, I have a land for you, and they were trying to secure this piece of land. They were about to go get married. Heck, I was about to go on that trip to help, you know, like, manage things with the papers, and, you know, no, yeah, it went flat. I saw even in the cards they were saying, like, he's lying, you know, and we kind of relied on that. And we knew, okay, we knew intuitively in general, like, yeah, this was all bull. This was not going to go down. This was not going to happen. This person was flat out lying. Their sister did not own hectares and hectares of land that was inherited from the mother, okay, like, yeah. So it was a whole mess. Like, literally, this poor girl was like, couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. For a while, she just ate, and then everything she ate, right? I don't need to go into detail. And she got to weakness to a point where she had to go to the hospital, and she had to get a surgery in one of her organs because it was just so bad. So, like, she was getting physically ill. She was sleeping like maybe 20 hours a day. No joke. Like, she was up to a point where I had to do hypnosis on them to help her get out of this kind of cycle, right? And we even did like this little regression thing, and yeah, like I did everything in my power as a friend to help, and during that time. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it was a little exhausting for me too, because I was like, okay, this guy is taking up so much of her time and energy, but I don't want to just like completely let them go during this time. There was a moment where we didn't speak for about 5 years, and that was when she was at her worst, when she first met this person. And 5 years later, we started speaking again when I felt intuitively it was time again, when I was ready to maturely handle such information and such a situation. Because back then I would only like run away or block people because I was afraid, like, oh, they would affect my energy and my life, and and I didn't understand that, you do need a friend. You do need to be there sometimes for people. And it was my mistake. Maybe sometimes I didn't set a healthy boundary for myself to not overhelp people, like not go to the point of flying to Washington, D.C. to try to get, funds for someone. But, that I needed to actually put my own oxygen mask before others. And so I needed that time to reflect on that, to, be alone, to make new friends, and then to lose them again, to realize, who was there for you all along, who was the one that was actually the good friend. And she was all along, of course. It was not perfect. It's not something to glamorize. We've had our moments and our fits as well. But for the most part, we're pretty well-developed, mature, spiritual people now. And we look at life that way. We don't externalize and seek out for things like that, like money anymore. And we don't even look at life the same as we used to 12 years ago. I mean, I was just a child. What the heck did I know, And I learned so much from them because they've had years of experience ahead of me, to realize the bullets to dodge in the future, even with guys and relationships. And they've helped me so much with, what to look out for and red flags, and to make me realize my worth, and to respect my time and my healing journey as well, because they had to go through it. And there were times they had to go back to their home country just to be on a little retreat, a little getaway, and because they were so overwhelmed with everything going on back at home that they just couldn't take it anymore. And I didn't blame them one bit. And they would be gone for months, and we'd still keep in contact. But this person would just constantly message her and just find ways to get more and more out of her, whether it was money or her time. It was just an awful process. And so that one day they finally decided to let them go. And they found so much more peace doing that. And they're still good in doing that. It's like, consider it like if you have an addiction, right? And you can have an addiction to someone. You finally let them go. You may slip up and not be sober again. You know what I'm saying? And they did slip up a couple times, but now they've been pretty solid for weeks or months. And I'm very proud of them. And they've been in a whole new journey. They started, their process of doing little projects and more investments and stuff. And guess what? Hey, yeah, I'm about to share more bad news. That flopped as well, right? And this happened recently, and now I'm getting up to recent events. What are they doing? They're still working. They're still fighting. They're still going after things, different projects. What's out there nowadays? I don't even know what that's called, like NFTs. I still don't even know what that is, cryptos and all that junk. They're still fighting for victory. They're still winning. In my mind, they're winning. You know why? Because they never gave up. They never gave up when they said they were going to jump out a window. No, they never gave up. They kept going and progressing. And that, to me, seeing her strength and courage and resilience is what keeps me going as a fighter myself, right? Like, that motivates me even more to keep going, to keep pushing, to keep propelling for my dreams and goals, and never to give up, no matter what your circumstance or situation is, to just keep going regardless, because you only have this one life. And they've given me priceless knowledge and information about peace and spirituality. They taught me about the law of attraction back in 2012. I will never forget them, and I will never forget the help they've done in my life and how it's impacted me, and to even help my process, my journey of formulating this online community. And I wish they knew really truly how much they have influenced me as a person over the years, and that's very rare to say. But because if I were in their shoes, I may not have been able to handle that life, everything they've been through. And now they recently tell me they only have a few dollars left in their name. Granted, they're doing well in other avenues that I don't have, or like the whole new thing, like the whole online virtual currency stuff. I just don't understand it. But in the tangible, they don't have many resources still to this day to get them through where they need to be, I suppose. And it makes us wonder, what are we fighting for? What is it that we're trying to acquire in this life, right? Do we need all this money, or do we just really want peace at the end of the day, right? Do we need to grow our business, or do we need to really find what it is that allows us to grow ourselves, right? And there is a healthy balance. Sure, you need to eat, you need a roof, of course, you need to secure yourself for old age, but still, at what cost, at what extent? The other day I was just talking about people who just making thousands of dollars a day. It's I've met tons of them. They're no happier than you and I. When does it end? When does the greed and corruption stop? When does, I'm not talking about her, I'm just talking in general about everyone in society. Because the reason we are so money hungry as a society is because others have passed along their illness to us. That, yeah, you need to make this money, you need to buy the Lamborghinis. No, you don't. You don't. Stop that. That's not everyone's form of happiness. We're not jealous of you because you have this and that. We don't even give a, who cares? Who cares about all that stuff? And I'll go talk about this more in another video about gratitude, and I'm going to do it in the next video now, but that's not everything. Especially a person who's starving and just has a blanket and they're freezing out in the cold. Okay? Don't be ridiculous. And this is why this culture is dying. And it deserves to die, because, I'm so tired of hearing people glamorizing that lifestyle. Oh my God, I wish I could share with you the people I've spoken to. You would be, your jaw would drop on the floor. The people I've met and I've known that have, way more than all of us watching combined. The corruption I've seen, the greed, the horrible lives they live, and I won't even go into it, but it makes me sick to my stomach, and I never ever want to live like that. And shame on whoever does. That's all I have to say about that. You live your life the best way you know how, and understand that it's not about those things, because that's all just a negative deflection of themselves. And I'm literally itching, my skin's crawling. I feel like I'm gonna baby barf. Do your best not to let those things absorb into your energy, okay? Because a lot of what we see on TV even, again, the yachts, the cruises, whatever, that's all at a price, and that's all because someone had to push someone out of the way to get ahead. And whether you like it or not, that's just how it is. And a lot of it's manipulation as well. And so I think a lot of our past unhappiness, even as the both of us, me and my friend included, was based on what we saw, even the sugar daddy thing. Like, oh yeah, I want to be like that. I want to be like them because that's cool. That's the in thing. That's the quickest way to make money. Ignoring our own peace, ignoring our own happiness, what really counts, what we really feel on the inside. And that's what you should tap into. And I think when we finally tapped into the peace, knowledge, and awareness, oh my gosh, it made such a huge influence and difference on both of our lives. I'm never going back. I'm never going to worry if I have this much by the time I retire, or, like, who am I going to compete with the Joneses or whatever, right? Like, you don't know their story, and I wish you never do. I wish you never do. Okay? Unless you're meant to meet that person to help them realize a lesson or help them through something, because this whole world is suffering. It really is. If you truly tap down to the spirituality of things, that we're just in a world of hell. We really are. And experiences taught me that. And I think seeing other people's lives and what they go through has taught me that as well. That there is no way out of it, but we can find a way out with peace. Okay? And this person for so long has been striving to achieve happiness. And it made me realize that maybe they never got there. I don't know if they have yet. In my perception, I don't think they did. Yet. But we do have to realize it comes within. And we have to realize that it's not something you're going to achieve and strive for, as these people with all too much money to even talk about. It's something that you literally choose within to just tap into anytime. Sort of like love, like an endless factory of love, right? From the book Mastery of Love. Like, it's all in your heart. It's not a limited, finite resource. It's infinite. It's unlimited. And happiness is there as well within you. You just have to tap into it. Look within and see, yeah, I have plenty within me. I can express it at any time and smile and laugh, One way of being happy is lemons, right? It really does work. Like, just inhale lemon aromatherapy, essential oil, right? Like, it just automatically boosts your mood. I don't know what it does, but anyway, it's an active daily exercise. If you've been functioning in a depressive state for 10 years, probably not going to happen overnight. You have to actively choose to tap in. And I guess I'm speaking to my friend now as well. It's something that I've come to realize that I myself have suffered with my form of depressive episodes over the years, for a couple years, over a decade ago, and then recently for about a year or so. The way I got out of it is to just realize that I have to make the decision to get up and say, I will just choose to live my life a certain way from now on, from here on out. And that's how it is. And that, I feel like that kind of maybe made them continue regardless of their circumstances. They finally stood up for themselves and realized that, yes, I can keep pushing, I can keep going on and moving forward. Although my life is not where I want it to be, they have goals and dreams and they're still not there. They will be by taking those daily action steps to cut out those toxic people from their life, to realize their worth, to realize sometimes you don't even need someone. You don't need a guy. You don't need to depend on a guy. Like, you don't need to be with someone, whether it's Jamaica or Peru or wherever. You're all you need. And they made me realize that with my partners that I was picking and choosing at the time, and who was good for me, who was not. And I think we both realized things within each other as well, that, like, yeah, she helped me with some things, I help her, I'm sure, maybe with some things, even if it's just through my tarot readings or something like that. what counts is to be there for that person. And I'm glad I never gave up. I'm glad I waited. I'm glad I saw things through, because I don't know, maybe would they have gotten through what they got through without me? I don't know. I'm the only person that knows about all this stuff that they went through. They can't share it with anyone else. It's too deep, it's too private, personal, painful. And I feel really honored and blessed and grateful to have a friend like that can confide in me and share things with me. But yeah, that's why I look at friendship differently nowadays than I used to. I used to look at it with such a bitter, resentful attitude. And now I realize the value and importance of it, and that, yeah, sometimes I deeply regret letting go of certain people in my life because I didn't realize for better at the time. And so I'm really happy to have them as a friend. And I still have faith and believe in them. I still believe they're going to have their yacht regardless. And they're going to get it in a good way, right? Not blood money. So thank you, Poopsies, for watching. I hope this motivate you to inspire that there's someone out there. This is a true story, that they're still going through things and their battles and their demons, that we all have been having to go through. And they're still fighting. If that person can fight, and it looks like they have no fight left in them, but they're still going, so can you. Stop making excuses today. Keep going. Keep pushing. Okay, you got this, and you can do this. And let this not exhaust your mind, but let this motivate you into action. Because sometimes we have no other choice. We have to get up and keep fighting. Are you going to let that boss tackle you down and you're going to be on the floor whining and moping about you being on the floor in pain? No, you're going to get up and you're going to kickbox that sucker. You're going to tap him in the knee if you have to, and the ankle. All right, you're going to do whatever, bop him wherever you can, so that you can get out of that situation you are in right now. Whatever situation you may have placed yourself in, or life placed you in, or both. It doesn't mean you have to stay there on the ground, okay? And this is, again, applicable to my friend watching as well. I love you so much. This is your video. You are the best friend ever. And although we never met, I feel like we've already met like a million times. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just that type of friendship. Like, you don't necessarily need to meet to get along, right? So, we tried, although we might one day soon, but that's a whole nother story. But Poopsies, allow this message to come through to motivate you, to inspire you today, that stop making excuses. Let's not wait till tomorrow. Our time is cut short anyway nowadays. You notice? Do what you love. Go tell someone you love them today, even if they don't love you back. Go hug a random stranger and give him a cookie or a slap. I don't care, like, be silly, okay? Don't be slapping people's grandmas now, you know what I'm saying? I'm just joking with you, okay? I'm not promoting that. I'm just being silly. I'm just playing with y'all. No, give yourself a slap to wake up, right? Like, to say, like, hey, we all have today. The future is just a combination of our daily actions, right? So the future is now. It's here. Get up. What are you doing? Stop sitting around like the story in the Bible, that guy that's been moping by the pools of Bethesda, right? Was that the one? He's been laying there like 30, 40 years. I wish someone would push me in the pool. And then finally someone, I think Jesus or whatever, whoever came, I forgot the story. If I ran a church, y'all would be like, I would have like a 99% leaving rate. Like, y'all would be like, or maybe you'd be entertained by my stupidity. I don't know. But anyway, the point is, Jesus, I guess, came and said, get up, get your clothes, get up, get your towel. You push yourself in that pool. That pool was supposed to heal you, and he was just like moping the whole time. No one would push me in the pool. Oh my God. Like, I guess once a year there would be a time where they get all pushed in the pool, and the pool has like healing magical powers. I don't know, whatever. The point is, don't lie and mope and wait 30, 40 years for someone to push you. Ain't nobody gonna come to save you, honey. All right? Ain't nobody. We only save ourselves. We only have ourselves. If we realize it, we come alone, we leave alone. Do you realize that now? Okay, so what you gonna do now? You're not gonna depend on anyone today, right? All right, you're gonna take a stance for yourself. This is the message for everyone, okay? Not just my friend. And you're going to say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to fight every day. I'm going to have that fighter mindset, that tough mindset. And I'm going to say, I got this and I can do this because I only have myself to push me to do the things that I need to do today. Okay? No boyfriend, no significant friend, no, heck, even Jesus can't help you if you're not willing to do a little bit of the work, right? I mean, he's going to be like, what you doing? Sit around waiting around for you to move your butt. No way. So, no sugar daddy. Okay, no one. I'm telling you that from experience right now. No one can literally save your butt but you. Okay? No one at all. All right? Not even me. I'm sorry. Maybe this pushed you, but even I can't do anything. I don't even know you, most of you, okay? So, I know my poopsies because I see you in the comments, but you know what I mean, okay? That's enough of the story time. I hope this helped you and gave you whatever you're looking for. Take care now. Much love and blessings to all of you. Bye-bye. Hope you enjoyed the story as well.